without further ado, allow me to introduce Anna Hotchin and Joe Cairns from Visa. They're going to be presenting sorry, it's been a long day. Championing Security, the not-so-secret diary of building Visa's Security Champion Program. Over to you.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. So good afternoon, everyone. Hopefully, being the last session of the day, we're not going to put you to sleep. So we're pretty thrilled to be here, representing our New Zealand-formed company, Freedom. Is a name, a brand that's not around anymore, but we're a proud acquired entity of Visa for the past 6 years. So Visa is security is one of Visa's top priorities, and during the last 6 years, our 400 or so staff have been on a bit of a journey through a comprehensive integration process with Visa, meeting a lot of strict compliance requirements and reinforcing our security measures. So being part of a global organisation that places such a high value on security is quite inspiring. So to introduce ourselves, Anna, with her 15 years of experience as an application developer, experienced a bit of an aha moment last year and decided that she wanted to trade in the developer tools for a bit of a new set of application security gadgets. So if you're imagining a superhero transformation montage, it's not far off. And then ever since this switch to the secure side, she's been tirelessly spotting vulnerabilities and assisting our teams with all things AppSec and nurturing our security culture. All of this while jointly growing our Security Champions program.
Cool. And Joe, on the other side, was a seasoned database administrator for almost 20 years, wrangling data and servers. And then about 2 years ago, he decided to make a switch to the dark side, application security, fueled by his passion of learning new things and tackling new challenges. And when he's not glued to his laptop, he's probably planning his next trip, because he's also a very seasoned traveler, and in fact has visited about more than 50 countries by now. Yep. So together, we're here to introduce you our journey for the last 14 months of building and running Security Champion program.
So what is all this buzz? And we didn't plan this, but there's been quite a lot of references in other sessions to the Security Champions program. And so this is quite relevant. It is a buzzword in cybersecurity today, and it's being hailed as a bit of a game changer and a must-have, but it remains a bit mythical, like a unicorn. So there aren't any real definitive blueprints for how to implement, but we believe at its heart that it's a mindset and a culture shift towards embracing security at every level in an organisation. It's about empowering individuals to champion security, to question, to challenge, and to innovate. So building a successful Security Champions program is a journey. So it's not a checkbox exercise or a certificate. So it's a continuous process of trial and error, learning and adapting to ever-evolving threats. So it's a little bit about turning buzzwords into something meaningful in your approach to security. So whether any of you are a member of your organisation's security team, or you're an enthusiast, a developer advocating for better practices, or you work as a leader in your risk or compliance or security area of your particular organisation, we hope that this talk's going to inspire you and equip you to champion security in your own sphere of influence.
Awesome. So before we dive into implementation details of our Security Champion program, let's set a stage with some insights from OWASP. OWASP says application security folks cannot cover all the bases alone, and their solution, Security Champions. It's like sprinkling a little bit of security magic dust all over your development teams. They also reference Security Champions in their maturity framework, OWASP, highlighting the role of Security Champions in boosting your application maturity of your organization. And they even got a security champion playbook. I think John mentioned that in his one of the opening sessions, that highlights the key benefits of having an effective security champion program. So things like scaling security through multiple teams by embedding champions into your teams. Also engaging non-security folks by educating individuals outside of traditional security roles, and also establishing a security culture. So this sets a good foundation for understanding what a security champion program can offer to your company. So now let's zoom in on Visa and see why this time, about maybe 2 years ago, we felt a strong need that we needed this program. So first of all, there was several factors that underscored this need for us. We observed a lack of company-wide approach to security, with security concerns were addressed in silos and often with gaps and inconsistencies. And then with the ratio of 5-person AppSec development team to about 200 plus developers, we didn't want a bottleneck. We felt like we needed to scale. And then there was a dreaded compliance. We had about a gazillion compliance requirements due to being an acquired Visa entity undergoing integration. And last but not least, we had a strong appetite from our product delivery teams for expedited security assessment program, which heavily relied on the security champions. So it was a bit of a no-brainer for us that security champion was a really good fit for us, so we persevered. Cool. Next. So realizing that the program was as critical for us as coffee on Monday morning or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we put on the research goggles and started brainstorming. So what do we need to do? We realized that every organization was unique with its own needs and challenges, and also strengths and opportunities. So there was no one-size-fits-all approach. So we clearly realized our needs and our challenges, but we were also willing to learn from others. So with this mindset, we scoured the web and came up with the common reasons why security champion program might fail. And we used this list as a compass for us to navigate through different obstacles and address any potential issues even before they arise. So things like lack of management support, insufficient time allocation, inadequate training, then poor recognition, inconsistent communication, and lack of clear expectation. So, cool, that's you. So we were eager to start, so let's dive in.
Yeah, so once we got this green light, the next question was, well, how do you recruit your security champions or your superheroes? So here's what formed the core of our recruitment strategy. The first thing for us is that passion is key. So we wanted to target anyone within the organisation that showed a genuine interest in advancing how we handle security, regardless of their role within the organisation. And then we believe strongly that forced heroes aren't really heroes. So we recognise that you can't force enthusiasm. So a voluntary champion is much more likely to be effective. And then we enhanced some of the, we emphasised some of the personal benefits that some of our staff might get by becoming a security champion. So that's things such as their career development, so driving a security-focused professional growth for them, allowing them to show initiative, so providing leadership or mentoring opportunities for them, skill growth, so expanding their knowledge in the security field. And then we sweetened it with some more deals and perks. So last year, all of our new security champions got tickets to OWASP 2023, and they were able to use that, we hope, for inspiration and learning to kind of kickstart things. And then we also had a special kickoff session done by one of our Agile Kaizen coaches that was a way of being able to introduce them to each other and really kind of foster that sense of a group and really kicking something off, getting it going. So once we'd recruited those champions, the real journey then began. So we once again were faced with, okay, we've got a team, but now what? So any security champion that you might launch, champions program that you might launch, is not just going to be a 3-step program like we've got outlined here. But we found that the 3 items here have been at the core of the progress that we've achieved to date. So during the next phase, we navigated potential failures and we learned quite a lot of valuable lessons and gathered some wisdom bites. So we're going to share some of these insights with you and try and show you how our super team didn't just assemble but has begun to soar.
Awesome. So let's begin with the important role of leadership buy-in and how it set a solid foundation for our Security Champions program. We concentrated our efforts in this 3 key areas, which is communicating the value. We wanted to ensure that leaders throughout organization recognize the value and how it aligned with their goals. Also, overcoming obstacles, as we saw some resistance we encountered at first when leaders view our program as just additional workload. So we make sure we came up with a robust business case, justifying the time investment and also return on that investment. And also setting the right expectations. Visa is inherently a security organization with security in our DNA. So getting leadership support was not that challenging in our case. However, we knew that setting the right expectations was critical. So how did we do it? We spoke their language, the language of business. Through a series of presentations, each carefully refined and improved, we came up with and formulated the ask of up to 10% of time of our engineers to be allocated to their security champions duties. And we knew the questions would arise were, does our engineers have time? Is it just more work on top of what we're already doing? So we make sure we explain that this is an investment and not a cost. And the skills that security champions acquire throughout this will cascade through their teams, elevating the security capabilities of the entire company. And in this case, we got really lucky. The leaders were very enthusiastic. They understood the value of the program, and they were happy to assist us to get the right coverage and ratio security champions to the teams. So we, I think we can say that we cracked the code and we won over leadership. Along the way, we learned some really valuable lessons. So let's go through that. So speak their language. We realized the value of understanding our leaders' perspective and communicating the values of the program that resonates with them. And we also learned the importance of being clear and realistic. As you're essentially pitching for resources, and in this case, a team member's time, you need to be clear and realistic what you're asking because it will compete with other priorities. Also, invite and listen to feedback. Our leaders' feedback was crucial for us in order to shape the program with the maximum impact and minimum disruptions to the team. And also, embrace the change. If you feel like something doesn't work, it's okay to pivot, and it will not only improve your program, but showcase your commitment to its success.
So one of the other bedrocks of our program is obviously the training aspect of it. So our focus is on developing security skills and knowledge for our champions. And to do this, we delve into a wide range of topics, and that can cover things like secure coding, secure design, security reviews, and familiarising them with the essential tools for their role, so things like SAST, OSV, etc. And with Visa, there is a plethora of these tools to learn and figure out. And then we recognise that a well-informed champion is much more effective. So we also concentrate on documenting policies and guides for our champions. These resources serve to answer their security-related questions, and we hope they act as a reference point for them for their ongoing learning journey. And for us as Visa, we're probably no stranger in having a diverse and ever-changing security landscape. So valid and up-to-date documentation is an essential element for our success. And then another inherent challenge we face is engaging a diverse group of individuals. The key to our success has been a program of sessions and content that at some point, we hope, resonates with each of the champions. So it's where we do something, they can learn something specific to their role and be inspired to become the go-to for security for their teams. So by regularly emphasising the value of a security-minded culture, we keep our champions engaged and motivated. This has become instrumental for us in fostering a culture where security is not merely an afterthought, but it's, we hope, becoming an integral part of our workflow. So it's important for our champions to have an ability to lead, even if they don't have direct authority. So while most of them aren't necessarily in an official management role or acting in a management capacity, we do encourage them to lead the security endeavours for their respective teams and feel empowered to mentor and shape those teams. But then beyond the technical expertise we need from them, we also value soft skills and believe they're a vital component in how we can continue to make them successful in their role. So recognising this, we've placed a real emphasis on encouraging our champions to refine their communication, their leadership and interpersonal abilities. These skills don't just become add-ons, but they become essential, and they enable them to better advocate for security within their teams. They empower them to articulate security concerns more effectively. They can start to lead by example, and they're building stronger relationships. It's ultimately this fusion of technical prowess with these soft skills that creates a more influential, more impactful security champion. But soft skills development is a continuous process, and it does require practice and self-reflection. So we encourage our security champions to seek feedback and continuously work on improving their skills. And for some, it is this part of the role that can become the most rewarding for them. Over the last year or so, we've seen some of our more shy, introverted champions really excel in gaining confidence and becoming the go-to for their teams for all things security, and equally in a wider group setting, being comfortable to speak up and say something where they may not have previously. We still do find it hard to get the interaction in the wider group setting, but we are encouraged by the personal growth we see from a number of our champions. In many champions' teams, it's probably not uncommon to have colleagues from a range of different backgrounds, and it is this mix of skills and experience that you can turn into a real asset and make your program that much more successful. The soft skills that they add to the mix, you shouldn't undervalue them. To give you an idea, our group currently come from some of these roles. We've got our core software developers, we've got some database developers, test analysts, cloud-focused teams, technical communicators. But again, the diversity is an asset. And then maintaining engagement among our champions is crucial, as it enhances retention in the team, it improves the productivity, and it promotes effective security advocacy. To make sure we keep this engagement going, we do run smaller, frequent catch-up sessions with champions from our subsets or smaller teams or functional areas within the business. And we find that this does make it easier for some of those who may not want to talk in that wider group setting, be able to voice their concerns or talk to us almost one-on-one, and make sure that we're working on solutions that fit their specific needs. And we conduct biannual surveys to assess the health of our program, and if we see things that come out of those, we work towards implementing change as needed. They become a vital means of us having a bit of a broader view on the overall progress, and they help us steer and focus where our future strategies might lie and the direction we're going to take with our program. In addition to this, because we're a Microsoft shop now and we use Teams, we've got a dedicated Security Champions Teams channel, and we encourage our champions to share ideas and be as active as they can in that channel. And Anna and I both try and encourage participation, and we persevere and try to give positive reinforcement wherever we can when someone does share something with the team. We've got a few more ideas of things that we're looking to implement in the future. Some of those are things like office hours, so running ad hoc sessions where we can have ourselves or others lead discussions on topics that they want us to dive into further. Looking at peer mentoring, so having some of our more senior members looking after our newer starters. Doing role shadowing, so allowing cross-pollination of skills and knowledge. And this addresses a particular problem we have, and I'm sure we're not unique in this either, is that a lot of our teams within Visa operate in silos, and we're trying to keep bridges between those. And then we also are looking at doing some interactive workshops where we can get like practical in-person sessions and really go into some of the more challenging security-related topics. So, in this quest to effectively train and engage our champions, we've got some wisdom to share. So firstly, we believe in targeted training. So we should only be teaching what is directly relevant to someone's role. And this focused approach ensures that they're getting skills they can readily and immediately apply. It keeps them interested and engaged. So we have to be careful because security is an extremely broad topic, so we want to avoid overwhelm and we want to avoid ineffective training. Then we incorporate real-life security incidents into our training. These stories not only make the sessions more interesting, but also demonstrate how there is some practical significance to what they're doing. A good recent example for us would be sessions we had with one of our wider Visa global ethical hacking teams, where they came in and explained their process for how to handle problems with bug bounty items that may appear through a bug bounty program that we participate in. And then a cornerstone of our approach is that Anna and I both take the training seriously. So it involves us being as meticulous as we can in preparing the content, making sure that our sessions deliver some value, and reinforcing to our champions that their growth is a priority for us. And then lastly, we value their time. So as we mentioned earlier, it's always a problem trying to carve out time. So we try to avoid cancelling sessions and we try to maintain consistency. But this means that we want to make sure we don't waste anyone's time. So if we need to cancel, we will, but we try to keep the consistency going and making sure that we're always providing them with these tools and training sessions that they need to thrive.
Cool, so now to the fun parts. So we armed our heroes with knowledge and leadership support, and now it's time to shine a spotlight on the champions itself. Heroes don't always come wear capes, and in our case, they are often invisible. But we believe in putting our champions into the spotlight and acknowledging their contribution and achievements. So how do we do it? First of all, we created an official security champion job description, outlining key roles and responsibilities. Not only it serves as a clear guide for our champions, but also elevates their visibility within their team and the entire organization. Also, during our new starter onboarding session, we make sure we introduce the concept of security champion. And this early exposure creates awareness and interest from the new starters. As mentioned before, we got an all goal for up to 10% of their time to be allocated to their security champions' roles and responsibilities. And we wanted to make sure that this time is visible and accounted for. So we created an objective and we encouraged every security champion to use it in their quarterly and annual reviews to discuss with their manager, toot their own horn a little bit, and make sure they acknowledge and recognize and get a bounty points for that. And also we use our internal uplift portal to recognize the achievements of our champions, no matter how small they are, because we believe that every small step matters. And there are even more creative ideas how you recognize and reward your champions. If some companies okay with using a little bit of cash, you can do that, but you can also create an official role for your security champions, and things like encourage their professional developments with some training opportunities. You can be creative and create some cool t-shirts and cups and stickers, conference sponsorship, visibility on the company platforms like newsletters and social media, and things like digital badges. So in our journey, we learned that recognition is not just about giving a pat on the back. It's creating a culture of appreciation. And here are some important lessons that we learn along the way. So things like visibility enhances value. With the job description and visible recognition, it elevates the stature of our champions. And we learn to celebrate small wins, and that leadership buy-in is crucial. When your higher-ups recognize your champions, it creates a sense of belonging and boosts their morale. Also, make sure that recognition is continuous, not just do a yearly shout-out. And peer recognition is also very important, as well as linking recognition to impact makes it meaningful. So remember that creating culture of recognition also creates happier people that want to contribute.
So where do we think we've landed in our 14 months or so of this program so far? We should face it that every hero's journey is often going to have obstacles, and we're not any different. But we think with a little bit of creativity and a lot of determination that we've turned some of these hurdles into highlights. So with management support, we've got a little bit of the secret sauce. So we definitely value communication and active executive sponsorship. Your success, if you do a program like this, is very likely to be crippled without management buy-in. Time allocation, so no more juggling acts. By allowing our champions to carve out a percentage of their role for security, we're giving them the approval to allocate that time, and they need it to be successful. With training, think of it a bit like a superhero boot camp with regular structured sessions and a variety of delivery methods. This is going to always be the bedrock of any successful Security Champions program. And then the recognition and rewards is trying to roll out the red carpet a wee bit with what you do with your recognition program, and always showcasing the great work from your champions. No one really likes to put in a whole lot of extra effort and not be recognised for it. And then with communication is make sure you tear down the walls with regular catch-ups, open hours, interactive platforms. A vibrant, active group is going to accelerate your company's security journey. And then set clear expectations. So by having a detailed job description as well as very specific objectives and key results built in to what our security champions are doing, it's a little bit like them having a GPS for our security champions journey.
So we walked you through the strategies that we use to tackle obstacles on our journey of creating Security Champion program. Now let's zoom out and have a look at the overarching impact that this program had on our company so far. So our security champions were instrumental in shaping a cohesive approach to security, communicating with their teams, and mentoring their team members. And also a 5-person AppSec team. Now we successfully delegated some of our responsibilities to our security champions, preventing bottlenecks. And also in the face of overwhelming compliance requirements, our champions really rose to the challenge and proposed creative and practical solutions to the challenges, and also streamline the processes for us. And last but not least, we're right on track for the expedited security assessment products, satisfying the demand of our product teams. So this just shows that you don't need to go looking for unicorns, and champions walk among us, solving one security challenge at a time.
So our journey doesn't end here. We believe in the power of repetition and consistency to further ingrain this culture. We're excited about what lies ahead for our program and growing alongside all of our champions, both the seasoned and some of the newly minted. We hope that for those of you looking to get a similar program up and going, or for some who might already have something underway, that we've given you some inspiration and information that will give you a better chance at success and allow you to build a program that can drive that real security mindset within your organisations.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.